Hey friends, today is the last day of our Noah story, so we're going to find out what happens. All right, so just to recap, God created Adam and Eve. They were given a beautiful garden and told that they could eat from the tree of anything except for the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. But unfortunately, they disobeyed. And remember, because they disobeyed, they had to leave the garden. And after they left the garden, they began to have many, many children. But as all of those children grew up, they forgot about God and they all started doing very bad things, so much that the whole earth was filled with yucky, yucky sin. And so sin was so bad that God had to do something. He decided to flood the earth and start over. God looked down for anyone righteous. He was only able to find one man, Noah. God decided to tell Noah about his plan. He told him to build a huge boat with many rooms in it, and that God was going to save his family. And so Noah quickly obeyed and began to build this boat. Noah warned the people around him, but everyone just laughed at him. And then finally the day came when they finished the ark. God sent all the animals 2 by 2. And then God told Noah to take his family into the ark. God shut the door behind them. Noah and his family waited 7 days for the rain, and then all of a sudden it started to rain. And it kept raining for 40 days and 40 nights, but Noah and his family and the animals were safe inside the ark. After 40 days, the rain stopped, but there was so much water that even the mountains were covered up. But eventually he felt the boat rest on top of a mountain, and he let out a raven, but the raven never came back. A few days later, Noah sent out another bird, a dove. It couldn't find a place to build a nest, so it came back. After a few more days, he let the dove out again. This time it came back with an olive branch in its beak. Then one day he let it out again, and it never came back. Noah knew that it would soon be time to leave the ark. And so God spoke to Noah and said, "Come out of the ark with your family. Let the animals out too, and everyone can begin to have their own families." How different the world must have looked to Noah and his family. There were no houses or people or animals except for the ones that had been in the ark. Noah and his family must have felt a little sad because the world that they had known was cleaned up and different. At the very same time, they must have been happy and thankful that God kept them safe. Noah built an altar out of stones to thank God for saving them, and God made a promise. He said, "I will never again send a flood that covers the whole earth." God gave Noah and his family something special to remind them of this promise. God put a beautiful rainbow in the clouds above them. Each time they saw a rainbow, they would always remember that God had promised never again to send a flood to cover the whole earth. And every time we see a rainbow in the sky, we can think of God's promise as well. God is never going to send a flood to wipe the whole earth clean again. That's his promise. Bye, guys.